Hey YouTube land, Tech Defenders here doing kind of a backtrack review, not a brand new figure review, but these are figures that I've had, and I realized I didn't do a review for them in the first place. So I've done a review for Wave 2, so this is actually Wave 1, kind of going backwards. I had thought I had uploaded video reviews for the Wave 1 figures, but apparently I did not, so we're going to go through the boxes quickly, and what these are the Neca Defenders of the Earth Wave 1 with Ming. So he comes with Serpent Staff, Laser Blaster, Blast Effects, and Sword. And he is number 3, Ming the Merciless in the wave. So on the back of the box, it has the evil ruler of the planet Mongo. Ming the Merciless has been battling the unconquerable Flash Gordon for years in the constant clash of good against evil. Desperate to seize the domain and dominate the Earth, Ming's greed for conquest has become his obsession. So what's interesting to note is on the back of Wave 1 they actually show 2 of the Wave 2 figures, which is Mandrake and Lothar. They don't show Garax. He was added in afterwards. Then we have the Phantoms box. He is number 1 on the wave. And this one has Wit Zuffy, Laser Blast, and Blast Effects. So if I flip around the back of the box, my box is not in the best of condition. But he has a brief write-up, and he has the stuff from the opening credits, which is Lord of the Jungle, the hero who stalks, the beast calling brother, the ghost who walks. The Phantom is the possessor of the strongest and most unique powers on Earth. He draws upon the ancient secrets and supernatural strengths of his roots in the deep woods. The Phantom's flashes of raw power, animal power, are invaluable in the Defenders' conquest of evil Ming and his ruthless robot army. I'm not sure if you call it conquest, but that's Phantoms. And again, he's Phantom, the ghost who walks. And then leader of the bunch is Flash Gordon, savior of the universe, with Laser Blaster, Blast Effects, and Sword. You have an image of artwork image of the character on the front, and then on the back of the box again. Out of the sky, his rockets ignite jests into battle faster than light, which is the phrase from the opening credits of the show. And then you have Flash Gordon is the legendary swashbuckler of space travel. This intergalactic adventurer is known throughout the galaxy as the one man to battle evil Ming and come out the hero. Flash alone understands the twisted mind of this wicked tyrant. He leads the Defenders' war against him to save Earth from extinction. And again, showcases all the figures on the back of the Wave 1 and the Wave 2. But we'll get into the figures now, once we get the boxes out of the way. So, we'll start off with the accessories. So, the accessories that come across the board that are shared between all the figures are the blasters and the blast effects to an extent. So, all the figures come with this version of the blaster. This is the slightly more blue one compared to the purpler one compared to the more bluish. Sorry, other way around. Wave 2 had a more metallic purple. Wave 1 has a more metallic blue. So there's a slight difference in those. So they all come with a blaster, a blast effect, which plugs in the short blast effect. And then they all come with the large blast effect, which is the one where it's firing off the laser. Then in the case of Phantom and Flash, they all come with a pair of closed fists. You have left and right to tell them apart. This is an issue that Wave 1 had. They fixed it for Wave 2. The hinge on the actual wrists, were made of the same plastic as the body of the figures, and not the skin tone plastic that the later wave has. This is Mandrake's hand. You can see the hand, the wrist here is actually made from skin tone plastic. And then what happened was, when you were moving the hands, it would the paint would rub off, and you end up with the plastic. So for Phantom, you have the purple plastic. For Flash, you have the red plastic. So you can tell whose hand is actually whose. You can see here, this is the sword wielding hand for Flash, and it is it's the sword wielding hand for Flash. So Flash has his sword, which is this yellow translucent sword, which has a decorated hilt or handle. So he has enjeweled kind of handle and a black grip with metal on it, and then it has a lit up like a laser sword, laser energy blade sort of thing. It's pretty nicely done. And then, as I said, he comes with his blaster, and that is Flash's gear. We'll go on to Phantom's. So Phantom, he actually comes with mostly the least amount of stuff. He really only comes with the pistol, but he does come with, which one is it? A unique gripping punching hand. And the reason he comes with a unique punching hand is because, if I can find it, he comes with one extra energy blast, which is the one with the range on it, and it plugs into the hole that's on the hand. And what that's supposed to represent is him using his powers from the ring, the skull ring that's on his hands. So he has a skull ring on both hands. You can even see it's on his sculpted trigger hand. So if I just throw his blaster into his hand, you can have them all holding their blaster. So he does have that. Both, well, actually all three of them share body bucks. So I'll get into that when I get into the articulation point. But Flash does have a grip hand for his sword. If we just get it into his hand without damaging it too much, he does hold it quite nicely. What's interesting is he comes with two grip hands. So one for left, one for right for the sword, but he only comes with one trigger finger hand, which is for his left hand. So you can't have him holding the pistol in the right hand unless you swap it out with the whatchamacallit hand, the Phantom's hand. But then you end up having the Phantom ring on the actual trigger finger, I think it is. Trigger finger? No, it's the one underneath the middle finger. So it does look a bit off. But again, Phantom does come with those same kind of pistol blast effect and pistol. He does come with one unique accessory, which is this thing called Zuffy, which I cannot remember from the show. I thought it was called Zappy or Saffy or something previously, but it's called Zuffy. I think they're supposed to be like indigenous creatures on Ming's planet or something along those lines. And they're like, they find them, I think they find them in the first episode, if I remember correctly, and they kind of befriend them. Stuff happens, and they end up with one of these things in tow. Kind of is like the comic relief, kind of like the way Snarf and Orko is. They were kind of going for something along those lines. Now, Ming, out of the rest of them, has a lot more detailing going on. If I try and not knock everything over and get them to stand. He does come with a sword just like Flash. He does come with the same pistol just like Flash. He also comes with alternate hands. The unique thing about him is his hands are uniquely sculpted. So you have this kind of ring firing kind of look, because if I remember correctly, he used to fire stuff out of the ring, or you used to be able to use the ring to defend him. I can't remember exactly what it was for, but it has this kind of kiss the ring sort of look to it. You know, you can kiss the ring of power sort of thing. His skin, his his hands are uses darker plastic, so it's not as noticeable on him when you're like moving the hinges. He does also have a soft goods cape, which is quite nice, but again, he does have the same blaster, but he has a more unique sword compared to Flash's. It's a more ornate looking handle sword, and it has some like jewelry embedded on it and stuff like that. So there is things like that. He does have, straight out of the box, he does have both grasping hands on him. He doesn't have the closed fist like the others does, but he is pretty nicely done. Now, I'll go on to Ming's I'll just go through Flash's articulation, because it's exactly the same as Phantom's. Since they share components. So the heads are slightly different. He has this sculpted neck piece, but the body buck is the same. This piece is just added on afterwards and glued in place, and then his neck is actually painted in skin tone. So he does have a skin tone painted head, whereas the later Flash figures came with skin tones molded heads as opposed to skin tone painted. So that is one of the things where they changed it. He does have the shoulders that can go out that much, rotate all the way around. He does have a bicep swivel. He has dual jointed elbows. He's wearing kind of like you see like the sleeve of his shirt. He does have a waist articulation. He has a ab crunch. He does have forward and back on the legs. He can kick forward that much. He has dual jointed knees, so he can kick that much. He has the rocker ankle. And again, this is where this issue with the paint comes into place. If you look at the back of mine, you see the paint has completely rubbed off on his ankles, and you see the exposed hinge is actually the red plastic that the base body is made of. Same thing with Phantom. His one is dark purple. He does have boot cut, and then depending on which hand you have in, he has a hinge on that, and again, if you move the hinge a lot, it will scrape the paint off the hinge, and it'll become exposed with the color of the base plastic of the figure, which is a bit of a downside, but it is what it is. So Flash and Phantom share pretty much the same body, with the exception of the belts. They have the unique belts, and then Flash has that unique shoulder piece with the armor on it, and then he has this piece that's glued on. If he didn't have this, his neck would probably look exactly the same as Phantom's. Obviously the heads are different, and the hands, they share the same boots. Oh, there's peg holes on the bottom of the feet, and they have hinges on the front toes. So pretty much they are the exact same sculpt with some minor differences. And then if I get on to Ming, he is also the same sculpt. Oh, one of the other accessories Ming comes with, which I failed to mention, is this pretty dope staff, which he actually had in the cartoon. It's called a Serpent Staff. The design of the head of it is basically the creature that he would ride into battle in the show, or actually, I'm pretty sure it turned up in the show. But he had this big kind of purple serpent thing that he had, which is pretty cool. So Ming's articulation is pretty much the same. His lower arms are different because he has gauntlets on. His his hands are completely different, but the same. He does have the same kind of bicep and up as far as his elbow. It's the same as everyone else's. His body buck and legs are exactly the same. His boots are the same. He is basically the same figure as the others, just with extra additional sculpted stuff. So his belt piece, he has the same kind of normal crotch kind of piece that Flash and Phantom has, but he has this extra ornate kind of piece that is actually sculpted over it and glued in place. He does still have the waist swivel and the ab crunch. Has a lot of paint apps on his ab and the ab crunch area, so I would be wary about moving it, because it is only painted on. It's not actually part of the sculpt, so if you were to move this quite a bit, it could end up rubbing that paint off. He has this ornate collar piece, which is unique to him. Then he has these if I bring it around, he has these shoulder pauldron knee bits that is also unique to him, and then he has the cape, which is a wired cape, again very unique for Ming, and it is exactly how he appeared in the show. He has all the same articulation points with the elbows, double knee joints, and the ball jointed head. I do love the head sculpt on this. He does have that. He always reminded me of the Mandarin from the Iron Man TV show. It came out, I'm feeling came out around the same time, and the designs were very similar. Because if I remember correctly, in that Mandarin was actually green skinned as well. The old Iron Man 90 show, for some reason, he was more of a, was he kind of a demon or something? I can't remember exactly what Mandarin was, but he didn't have a human skin tone. He had a non-human skin tone, which is kind of interesting. But overall, these are really good figures. And I just bring in the tape measure. You can see they do stand all around the 7-inch mark. So Phantom, Flash, and Ming all stand within 7 inches. And we'll bring in the whole team. Just to have them side by side. You got Mandrake, who again is kind of the shortest of them. Lothar. And then for the bad guys, we have Garax, or Garax, however you want to pronounce it. So that's the whole wave of figures for Defenders. As I said at the time of this recording, I don't know if there's any other figures planned for this. I would love to see them do like a generic ice robot. That would be pretty cool. And maybe some of the other characters, the side characters, I don't know if they'd be popular enough for them to do them, but especially the ice robots probably would be. But other than that, there is a look at the Defenders of the Earth Wave 1 figures, which I had forgotten to do, but corrected that mistake. So here is Wave 1 all in one go. Instead of doing them individually, it's probably easier if I did them all in one go as one review. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video review, and hopefully it's not too long for you. And as always, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. Hopefully I can get some more subscriptions to help keep my channel growing. It would be pretty much appreciated if you can do that. That would be great. Cheers, guys. Hope you enjoy your day.